So the second part is on the funding opportunities under the Justice and the Citizenship, Equality, Rights and Values programs. So the first presenter from the European Commission is Ms. Karavasili, also from the DG Just.
So, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for this invitation. I'm very happy because it is very timely. Actually, we are finalizing the work on the preparation of the next work program for our two programs, so the Justice Program and the Citizens, Equality, Rights and Values Program. We are ready to launch, to open actually our calls for proposals this week. So I really hope that you will find some useful information in my presentation, but also in the discussion that will ensure we can cover also maybe other points. As I said, we are right now in the final steps of adopting the program's next basic act, the next regulation, which will cover the next 7 years, 21 to 27. And in parallel, we are finalizing the work program for the first 2 years. This is actually the first time that we work with a biennial program. Usually we have annual programs. And in parallel, we are also doing some preparatory steps, which is the preparation and the launch of the calls for proposals under the work program, all in an effort to minimize the delays that have in any case been incurred due to the late agreement on the MFF and the late adoption of the regulation. So we really hope to be able to catch up on some of those delays. So for the ones that are already familiar with the previous justice program, they will not be surprised because actually there is continuity in the objectives of the new program. The new justice program will continue to contribute to the further development of a European area of justice. It will continue having the 3 specific objectives out of the 4 it had. So we don't have anymore the drug prevention specific objective that will be part of the Internal Security Fund. But we will continue support via the program Judicial Cooperation in Civil and Criminal Matters. We will continue promoting judicial training. And we will also have the support for projects in the area of access to justice and e-justice. From the point of view of budget, I'm afraid the news are not very good, and also it is intimidating every time I speak about budget in the context of presentations where we heard before about billions in the RRF, but here we come down to the context of millions. So for the whole 7-year period, it will just be 305 million. That amounts to about 45 million per year for all the activities supported by the program. And what is new is that the new regulation will impose on us earmarking on how we spend this budget among the specific objectives supported by the program. You see there the percentages, which are not very far actually from the current allocations in the previous 7-year period. And we also have a 10% flexibility to invest in actions in relation to the rule of law, to which the new regulation puts particular emphasis. The types of activities to be funded actually are not significantly modified. So you see there the first 6, awareness raising, training for stakeholders, mutual learning through the exchange of good practices, analytical and monitoring activities, support for the development of IC tools and support for key European networks. We had that already in the previous program. What is new now is that the program can support activities for the capacity building of civil society organizations, and there will be also some funding to support activities on awareness raising of the program's results. On monitoring and evaluation, the news is that we will need to have a disaggregation of data, of results produced by the projects, disaggregated by sex, and also the evaluation of the program will need to include the gender equality perspective. This comes with the new regulation. The new regulation also is very good in that it provides, as part of its articles, a definition of what is judiciary and judicial staff. This is very useful because this is actually the biggest target group of activities funded by the program. So judiciary and judicial staff does not mean only judges, prosecutors, and members of staff of courts and of prosecutors' offices, but it also includes other justice professionals associated with the judiciary. And this could be lawyers, this could be notaries, bailiffs or enforcement officers, insolvency practitioners, mediators, court interpreters, translators, court experts, and prison staff and probation officers as well. So this is a quite big target group. Although it is true that the program's bulk of support, let's say, is for judiciary and judicial staff, but mainly judges, prosecutors, and so on. For the main features of the new program, there is continuity from the previous work program for the ones of you that are familiar. So we would like to maintain the co-financing in all our action grants calls to 90%, and we would like to maintain the co-financing of 80% for the operating grants. We will continue supporting both national and transnational projects depending on the call. And the minimum grant amount, we will keep it to 75,000. Given the budget that was not significantly increased, we can unfortunately not be very ambitious, not be very bold with developing new priorities or increasing the funding of existing ones, or we are not able, for instance, to support big budget projects. So we will need, by definition, to stay at similar annual budget levels as in the past. This ensures continuity, but unfortunately, we cannot really evolve the program into new priorities. The main features in the new program, as I said, we don't have the drugs prevention specific objective anymore. The program will be biennial, and we have the ER markings. And we will have as well the new cycle of support for 4-year partnership agreements with selected networks that will be selected through an open procedure, of course. Now, in what has to do with the calls for proposals, so we will maintain the call in the area of judicial cooperation in civil and criminal matters. So these are transnational projects, but we will also offer support here for national projects in one area to support the development of national networks, both in the area of civil and in criminal matters, but also the support of member states for the connection of their national ECRIS systems to the central ECRIS system. We will continue having the call on judicial training at the same level, more or less, as in the past. It seems that we have less funding now in this call, but actually it's because the support for training of judges in the area of competition law is not anymore with our program, but is with another program. And we will have also, as in the past, the 2 calls in the area of access to justice, the call supporting e-justice projects. So the priority is that Alexander spoke about earlier, but this is not to support, of course, big projects supporting the national digitalization. This is more for cross-border cooperation projects in the area of e-justice. And we will have the call to support transnational projects aiming to enhance the rights of persons suspected or accused of crime, and also the rights of victims of crime. This call, actually, I have noted there the deadlines. This call will be launched later than the other ones. In the area of operating grants, the new regulation includes an article as the previous one as well, which tells us that we need to support the work of the European Judicial Training Network. We need to support its program. And in this effect, we will award annually an operating grant, which amounts actually to about 25% of the whole program's budget. And this is significant funding in the area of judicial training. At the same time, we will launch in 21 a new cycle of framework partnership agreements, where we will support European level networks, and these are formal networks having members in at least 14 member states. This will be an open procedure, and the objective will be again to support the program of these networks via operating grants in the years 22 to 25, again through an annual application where we will assess the plans of these networks for their annual program. I note there the indicative budget for the operating grants, and this includes as well about 11 million for the European Judicial Training Network grant. Just for info, these are the framework partners of the last 4 years. These are the ones in the area of judicial cooperation. And these partners are the ones in the area of access to justice. So we have supported their work program for the past 4 years. And what are now the next steps in relation to the program? So our plan is by mid-March to open the calls for submission of proposals. The calls have been published already in the Funding and Tenders portal on 3 March. In case you want to know more about the calls, you need to visit the portal. I have put the link there, and I will put it also in the chat after the presentation. In case of questions, I put there our contact details where you can reach out to us on any question either about the program or about the calls. The next step is that towards the end of March, the biennial work program will be adopted, and towards the end of April, we expect to have the adoption of the new Justice Program Basic Act. So things happen this year a little bit in reverse. Normally, we already have a Basic Act, and we adopt first the work program, and then we publish the calls. But all of this now is done this way to avoid further delays and to actually be able to disperse funding to applicants as fast as possible. As you noticed in my presentation, the deadlines are really very close. They are in the beginning of May. So we really need to reach out to all the program stakeholders and make this information known on the calls. So I invite you to visit the portal. I just have a couple of slides to show you what you can find there, but of course there is a lot more to discover. So this is from the page where our 5 calls are published, the ones I spoke about earlier. And this is the page from one of the calls, the Judicial Training 1. So if you go there, you can find, for instance, a lot of the information on the call. What are the objectives? What are the priorities? what are the conditions for applying, useful documents about the call, partner search as well. There is a facility in the portal where you can see, for instance, others who are active and would like to partner for submitting applications. And also there you can find the link to actually start the submission of your application. This is a page actually from the call, a previous year's call on judicial training. Actually, in the Funding and Tenders portal, you have the opportunity to visit the pages of all the past calls we have launched in the program, under the program. And in those pages of each call, you can actually find information on which projects have actually been awarded. So this is very useful information in you as an applicant, a potential applicant preparing your proposal, to know already what other projects we have funded in the same area. I invite you to really visit those pages, and actually in a few weeks, months, very shortly in any way, this is going to be improved. So instead of just having an abstract of the project, you can actually find out more information, such as deliverables and so on. So in any case, all the public information about previously awarded projects. So thank you for your attention. I believe my colleague Francesco now will follow to present you information on the Citizens' Equality, Rights and Values program, and then maybe we can have a Q&A session.